The ECOVACS DEEBOT T30S is a powerful robot vacuum that keeps your home clean. It has strong 11,000 PA suction, smart AI mapping, and avoids obstacles. It even has a self-cleaning station and can be controlled with your voice or phone. It also features Zero Tangle 2.0 anti-tangle technology to avoid getting tangled up with pet hair. The Omni Base Station washes the mopping pads with hot water and dries them with hot air to keep everything nice and clean. The True Edge adaptive edge mopping allows it to get into crevices and keep the entire floor nice and clean. Say goodbye to messy floors and hello to a cleaner home. Now the packaging itself does look fantastic, so let's get inside and see what we got. First off, we do have the base that does have a bit of a ramp here so the robot can actually glide up into the base station. Right here we actually have an easily removable base so you can actually clean this every so often to make sure dirtiness doesn't build up. Next up we have the all-important Omni Station, which is going to be the base station for everything that goes on with the robot, from sucking up the dust and debris from the robot itself into the bag, and also exchanging water and using hot water and hot air to clean the mopping pads to keep everything smelling nice. As you can see, we have this beautiful black color that'll blend in with any decor. Now if we pop open this little hatch on the front, we do get greeted with the all-important dust bag that's gonna trap and lock all the dust and debris. Removing the bag is very simple. Simply pull the tab, it'll close the bag, and you can continue to pull it on out, and it'll keep everything nice and inside so you can easily throw it away. Now when you want to replace a bag, of course, you simply just take it. Now if we come up to the top, we do have two water tanks. The right one's gonna be what you fill up with clean water, and the right one's gonna collect all the dirty water after it's done mopping. As you can see, they both have a very good size, so they'll last a good while before you have to replace it with clean water and empty out the dirty water. And trust me, that dirty water is gonna stank because it does a great job at cleaning them floors. Now installing this little base into the Omni Base Station is very simple. Simply slide it into place like so, and push the corners just like that, and it'll lock into place. And like I said before, you can easily remove this little tray for easy cleaning. Now taking a look at the T30S itself, it does have a very nice matte black design, so it's not going to be a fingerprint magnet, which is fantastic. It's also not going to be showing dust like crazy, so that's very nice to see. Now up on the top we do have 3 buttons as well as some sensors, and this little top actually magnetically comes off, and you can actually see the dustbin that'll collect and trap dust and debris before it gets sucked out into the Omni Station. We also do have a Wi-Fi indicator light and button combo, so you can connect it to Wi-Fi and the app. Now keep in mind, because we do have the Omni Station sucking all the dust and debris out of here, you're really not gonna have to empty this out, but you do want to replace this filter every so often. Now if we take a look at the front here, we do have a bumper, so if it happens to run into something, it'll know to stop. The bumper also consists of sensors on the sides as well as the front, and there also is a camera as well that you can also use to patrol around the house to keep an eye on things. Now over here on the back, we do have the charging pin connectors and a sensor, as well as a dust outlet so all the dust and debris can get sucked out into the Omni Station. This of course is going to be the side that goes into the Omni Station for docking. Now if we take a look at the bottom, we do have 2 360-degree rotating mopping pads that also do retract when it does sense carpet, so that's very nice in case you're trying to mop and vacuum at the same time. Now one of the cool things about the mops is this one actually rotates outward, so it can actually get into corners and edges to keep everything nice and clean, because otherwise if it's in here, it's not gonna be able to get what's over here. So when it sticks out, it'll be able to take care of that no problem. Now back on the top, as you can see, when it sticks out, it does stick out rather far, so it'll definitely have no problem getting into the edges. Very nice. We do have these are really high wheels right here, so they can go over some steep obstacles. We also do have the roller brush in the middle. Very nice, and if we actually pop it open, we can take a look at what's inside. And as you can see, we do have these little sharp teeth here, so it can actually cut pet hair so it doesn't get tangled up, and it can instead suck it into the dustbin. As you can see, very easy access in case you have to replace it or take care of anything. Of course, over here on the front, we do have a 360-degree pivoting wheel, so it can turn as needed. And over here on the side, we do have a little spot here to put the rotating brush, just like so it can pull all the debris into the middle and get it sucked up. Now let's actually get this placed into the Omni Station, just like so. Also inside of the box are some replacement mop heads, which are very nice to see, as well as some extra dust bags so you're ready to go for a very long time. Alright, so now let's get the Omni Base Station powered on with a switch on the back. Let's hold down the power button on the robot itself for 3 seconds. And there we go, everything is powered on. So next up, we're gonna download the Nice satisfying chime. So next up, we're gonna download the ECOVACS Home app and open it up.
Please scan the QR code for details.
We're gonna choose scan to connect. And now we're actually gonna scan the QR code that's on the robot itself. I'm gonna place it back in the base station. We're gonna confirm that we have the robot powered on. We're gonna press and hold the Wi-Fi button for a second. And as you can see, we are connected. Now next up, we have to get it connected to our Wi-Fi network and make sure it's a 2.4 gigahertz network. And just like that, in a matter of about 15 seconds, we're connected to our Wi-Fi network. Now we can rename it whatever we want and tap on continue. Now we're gonna set our time zone and language, tap on enter. And just like that, we got the
Hello, I'm Yico, your new AI voice assistant from ECOVACS.
I was trying to introduce you myself, but this is Yico. So now we're gonna test out the voice commands because you can actually control this with your voice on the robot itself. Okay, Yico.
Yes.
Turn up the volume.
Okay, volume is set to 70.
Okay. And now as you can see, we are in standby mode and it is currently charging. Up on the top left, we can see we have 53% charge right now and it's in vacuum and mop mode. We can choose to map our home, which we'll get to once we have it set up. Down at the bottom, we can choose the type of clean that we want. We can choose auto and we can also turn on AI cleaning. So it'll actually use intelligent AI cleaning to make sure it cleans as effectively as possible. We can also choose different rooms to clean, zones to clean, or scenarios. Now, if you turn AI off, you can actually choose what you want to do. Cleaning mode, we can either have vacuum only, mopping only, vacuum and mopping, or mopping after it's done vacuuming. We can also choose how much water flow rate we want, whether we want it low, medium, or high. We can also do custom, so we can actually choose a number that we want depending on how much water that we want. We also have cleaning passes, so if your house is particularly dirty that day, you can have it cleaned 2 times to get extra clean, as well as adjust the suction power between quiet mode, standard mode, strong mode, as well as max mode to get the maximum suction power. Then of course we have cleaning speed. We can choose standard, deep cleaning, or quick cleaning depending on how dirty your house is. Now down here on the bottom it does say station, so if we tap on that we can actually see our station settings. So right here we see our clean water tank has insufficient water, so we do need to replenish it, and also the dirty water tank will let you know when you need to empty it. We can also choose to have the station do things such as empty the dustbin, so if we press that, it'll actually empty the dustbin from the robot 2 times to make sure it gets everything out of it into the dust bag. It'll actually suck everything out of the robot itself 2 times to make sure it gets everything into the dust bag. We can also choose to have it wash the mop and dry the mop as well. Now, as far as washing the mop goes, we can choose to have it wash it with hot water. Now, personally, I like to have it washed with hot water because it gets everything as clean as possible, but you can turn that off if you want to. We can also choose if we wanted to use a moderate amount of water or a deep wash with extra water, but keep in mind you will have to refill the clean water more often if you're using more water. Then we also have station self-clean mode, so if we tap on that, it'll actually release water into the tray so you can easily clean it without having to put water in it yourself. Now over here on the top right, we do have a gear icon. If we tap on that, we have more settings such as the cleaning log, so you can see when it cleaned, how it cleaned, and check the map to make sure it cleaned the areas that you wanted. We can schedule cleaning to clean on certain days at certain times automatically, as well as go to maintenance and see when you need to replace consumable items, such as the side brush, the main brush, the filter, or the wash mop. So next up we have video managers, so you can actually have a patrol around the area to keep an eye on things while you're away from home. We also do have mopping pad auto lifting, which is great if you happen to have carpet, so it can actually retract the mops upwards so it doesn't get your carpet wet. We of course also have intelligent settings, so if we tap on this, you can choose how often you want it to auto wash your mop, whether by time of 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or 25 minutes, or every time it cleans a room, it'll come back and clean the mops. We also have how long you want the hot air drying to last, 2, 3, or 4 hours to make sure everything gets dried, as well as auto empty, so you can have it automatically empty every time it starts getting full so it can clean up more pet hair, especially if you happen to have a lot of pets around the house. We also do have intelligent deep mopping, so to automatically perform a second cleaning if it detects a particularly dirty area. And then right here is really cool. We have true edge adaptive edge mopping, so as you can see, it'll send out that side mopping pad so it can get into the edges of the walls and make sure it gets the entire floor nice and clean. You can choose either extreme mode, which will have constant edge contact for maximum cleaning coverage, as well as standard mode for appropriate edge distance for more complex home settings. Then next up, we also do have more settings, so we can have do not disturb turned on, so it'll automatically not clean or make any noises during this certain time period, as well as child lock, so all the physical buttons on the robot will not work, as well as auto resume, so it'll automatically charge during the cleaning if it needs to, if the battery is running low. We also do have AI VI 3D 2.0, so it'll identify and avoid obstacles. And then we also have foot touch control, so when it's on standby or pause for cleaning, you can lightly tap the bumper with your foot and it'll start or continue the cleaning task. So that's actually pretty cool. We can also choose the units, whether we want meters or feet squared. And finally, we do have the Yeeko voice assistant, which you can turn on and off if you want to control it with your voice. I personally like to have it so I can just yell at it and be like, hey, go clean the kitchen, and it goes and cleans it for me. That's pretty cool. So as you can see, the app is very straightforward and easy to use and highly customizable. So let's actually go get this set up and put it to the test. All right, so now the time has come. I've been using the ECOVACS DEEBOT T30S for a little while now, and things are overall very great with the way it performs at keeping my house nice and clean. To start off, as you did see, the setup process of getting everything assembled and put together was an extremely easy and straightforward process. You literally put the couple pieces together and you're ready to go, just like that. Setting up the app was a breeze. You simply sync it up. It takes a matter of minutes and you can customize everything to your liking, so it can clean when you want it to, not clean when you don't want it to. You can set AI to be on or off. You can even choose if you want to mop, vacuum, vacuum and mop, mop after vacuuming. You could customize it to your heart's content. And of course, remember, because you are using an app and you are connected to the internet, you can control your robot vacuum from literally anywhere around the world, as long as you and the robot both have an internet connection. Now, once I had the vacuum set up in my house, I instantly sent it out to go map out the area, and it did a very good job at mapping out everything. It separated individual rooms, and I was able to rename them to exactly what I wanted. For example, I got the dining room, I got the kitchen, I got the corridor, I got the entryway, and I even got the living room all set up. So when I wanted to clean something, I could be like, hey, go clean the kitchen only and mop it. And then I can be like, hey, you know what? You should go vacuum the living room while you're at it. I could tell it exactly what to do, so it only cleans certain rooms instead of the whole house, saving on time and cleaning where it's actually dirty. Now, as far as the cleaning process goes, the suction power is very good, and the brush on the side does a great job at bringing all the debris into the center and getting it trapped into the middle, right where the roller brush is, to suck everything up. It gets everything from hairs to crumbs to dust, you name it. Whatever's on the floor, it's gonna suck it right up. Now, that being said, whatever's on the floor, it's not actually gonna do, because it does a good job at avoiding obstacles, going under furniture, getting around things in the way like a shoe, and even going underneath of my bike that I have sitting in the middle of the living room for some reason. It goes right underneath of it. It's actually pretty low profile. Now, if you happen to have a pet in your home that's shedding all over like crazy and there's hair all over the floor, you know how that can be with a vacuum. Now, the roller brush actually features zero tangle anti-tangle technology, so if there's a bunch of pet hair that gets trapped in there, or even human hair, it doesn't really matter what kind of hair it is, it gets in there, it's actually gonna cut it up so it's able to get untangled from the brush and get sucked into the dustbin, so you don't have to worry about cutting it out manually and having to go through all that hassle and making the suction suffer because it's blocked. It takes care of that for you, which is a major feature for pet owners. And then once it goes back to the Omni Station, automatically, without you doing anything, it sucks out everything from the dustbin in the vacuum into the dust bag in the Omni Station 2 times to make sure it gets everything out of there, and it works very well, so you never have to do it yourself. Now, one of the cool features about the mopping portion of this cleaning capability is the True Edge adaptive edge mopping capability, where it actually sends out one of the mopping pads out to the side of the robot so it can actually get along the edges and mop the entire floor. And that is very good, because when it's doing that, it knows that it missed the spot in the middle. For example, you have one mopping pad here, one mopping pad here, but it pushes that one out. So right here in the middle, it's gonna miss that spot while it's mopping. So when it circles back around, it makes sure to get that spot in the middle that it missed, because it's smart like that and knows exactly where and where it didn't clean. Now, speaking of that, I really did like the way the app looked when it was vacuuming and mopping. For example, when it's vacuuming, it just shows a pretty basic line going around, just a really thin line. But when it's mopping, it actually blows it up into a bit of a bubble so you can actually see where the mopping pads were. So right here, it's going like this, and it's showing you exactly where it was, but right in the middle, it's showing where it was vacuuming. So that's actually really cool, so you can see what was mopped and what was vacuumed at the same time. Now, the mopping pads do feature Osmo Turbo 2.0, which does a great job at getting rid of stubborn stains on the floor by focusing on them and making sure to actually, work on them a bit more to get off any stuck on residue that happens to be on the floor. So that's a very nice feature to have, especially if you happen to be in a little bit more of a messy house where there's stuff getting tracked in from outside. You don't want that there. Let it scrub it up. Now, obviously, since it's mopping a dirty floor, the mopping pads themselves are going to get dirty and start smelling. However, unlike some other robots where they either don't clean the mopping pads whatsoever and you have to do it manually, or they just clean them with cold water, the ECOVACS T30S actually cleans the mopping pads after it's done mopping the floor with hot 158-degree Fahrenheit water to kill all the bacteria and germs and odors and gets rid of it. And then once they're wet, it actually dries it with hot air to keep them nice and dry so there's no smell. Very, very nice, and it works very well. For example, I had it mop, I checked the bottom, it was wet, I sent it back, it cleaned them, it turned on the hot air, and guess what? Once it was done, nice and dry on the bottom. perfect. And yes, when you do empty out that dirty water tank, it does get very dirty and smelly, so it's definitely doing its job. Now, if you happen to have both carpet as well as a hard floor in the same area that it's going to be cleaning, it actually does retract the mopping pads up so it can actually go over the carpet without wetting them. So that's a very nice feature, so it can mop and vacuum at the same time without having to worry about, you know, mopping the carpet. And it does that automatically by just sensing that there's carpet there. So that's really cool. And other than using the app to control it, you can actually control it with your voice by talking to the robot itself. For example, you're like, "Okay, Eco," and it's like, "I'm listening, what do you want?" And and then you're like, "Go clean the kitchen, go mop the kitchen, go vacuum the kitchen," whatever you want, and it's gonna go do it for you. So that's very cool and ultimate lazy hack right there, my favorite. Overall, the ECOVACS DEEBOT T30S is a wonderfully designed, beautiful, it's literally big, black, and beautiful, very nice robot vacuum and mop that does all the cleaning for you so you don't have to worry about it. I love how the pet hair doesn't get tangled in the brush. I like how the mopping pads rotate around and do a little bit of scrubbing action, and I like how it sticks it out to go get in the edges so it gets every part of the floor instead of missing over here because the mop's over here and it's like over here and it sticks it out. It does it for you. I love that. It's very much a set it and forget it robot. You simply map out your area, you can set off limit zones that you don't want it to go to, and it'll take care of everything for you on schedule exactly the way you have it scheduled in the app. Very cool and a great way to keep your house nice and clean.